I have some very disturbing news to give about the Marxist community. Now, just a couple days ago, there was a big blow up in the Party of Communists USA, not to be confused with the Communist Party USA. This is two different groups. Essentially, the PCUSA is now over. For all intents and purposes, the party has now fractured to a point where, frankly, it won't be possible for it to continue in any meaningful form. Now, what caused this? The same kind of thing that I've warned about: identity politics. To put forward essentially what happened, according to the people who have left, many of whom were women, they left the organization due to much of the transgender politics that had been going on inside the party. The women complained that they were treated in a very misogynistic manner by the people, the men who identified as women. And this is one of the reasons why they left. Now, they also came with a bunch of other information that is frankly outright disturbing. One of the things that they told the public was that many of the meetings in at least one particular state, I believe it was California, the party meetings degenerated into orgies, and this was a common occurrence. Now, the party went so far, or the people involved in these orgies were pressuring other people to join them. And then when they didn't want to join, when the women didn't want to have sex with men who identified as women, they called them transphobic. Now, this is deeply disturbing as it is. Now, it actually gets even worse. Those who have left the organization, and some men left too, but there was a large portion of those who left were women, say that the party was using the funds raised from dues that people pay to funding drives that they go to, basically just the general income of the party was being spent on prostitutes for various members inside the organization. In other words, about as much as of a barrel of corruption as this could possibly be. And all of this is a direct result of the identity politics within the party. Anytime this was criticized, they say that those who opposed it were accused of being transphobic. So it is already acknowledged. I mean, it's a matter of absolute fact that identity politics is being pushed by the establishment. Not just the CIA, but the mainstream liberal ideology in general, as a measure of undermining radical reform, as a way of undermining radical movements. Now, this has taken another manifestation in taking down another Marxist group. Now, however useful the PCUSA might have been, whether you agree with their line or not, that's not really relevant here. What's relevant here is that IDPol has destroyed another Marxist group. And this is something that we have seen, quite often through in our modern time within the last, say, 4 or 5 years, that this poisonous identity politics is destroying organizations. Now, of course, I'm not going to lament the loss of a first worldist organization, because this is the kind of thing that I expect to happen. Like, this kind of thing is coming. I mean, this is part of the inherent nature of first worldism itself. But what's important to do is point out the identity politics and the problem that it causes, because we don't need to have identity politics in our movements. They are destructive. They are pushed by reactionary forces, like literal reactionary forces, the ones that are trying to prevent revolution, trying to prevent radical organization. And this poisonous garbage that is IDPol, this anti-materialist nonsense, must be eliminated from our movement. That it does not matter if you're third worldist, Maoist, Hojaist, or even Posadist or ML. It doesn't matter. In all of these cases, in all of these quote-unquote brands of Marxism, identity politics is poisonous, and it destroys movements. And that's what we're facing right now. This should be a lesson. People should be learning. Marxists should be learning from this. This ID poll nonsense is destroying us. And people keep saying about how there's a revolutionary potential in the first world. Yet the effort of trying to organize that, alleged potential is destroyed by the weight of its own liberalism. Now, the people who did this, who took party money and used it for buying prostitutes, those who tried to have party-enforced or unofficially party-enforced orgies, should never be part of a Marxist organization ever again. They should be completely banned and shunned from the entire Marxist community in general for this kind of despicable act. But, we don't have names. We don't know who is who did what, etc. So let this be a lesson. I don't know how many times, it's not just me, a lot of people have said this. This identity politics is poisonous garbage. And the only thing that ID poll people who claim to be Marxists, because you're not, if you're down with ID poll, you are not a Marxist. You are a liberal. Marxism is about materialism. And don't give me this class reductionist garbage. Marxism is a theory about class. That's what it's supposed to do. We need to push these people directly out of our communities. Push them into the liberal garbage bin where they belong. It is time the Marxists stopped following this crap. It is enough to destroy what very little organization or even principled debate that exists today. We're in a very terrible position, despite what many people are saying about how young Americans are talking about socialism right now. Well, they're not. They're talking about Bernie Sanders, free stuff, Western social democracy. They're not talking about revolution. They're not talking about getting rid of capitalism. They're talking about nice, soft, democratic, liberal reforms. So we have to purge these people out. We have to purge these ideas out of our community because they straight up, perfectly, honestly, do not belong with us. Because if people don't pay attention to this perfect example of what's happened to the PCUSA, this is going to repeat itself over and over again. And it frankly has in at least a few cases that I can think of. But this kind of garbage is going to destroy movements. And we have to be ready for it. We have to purge it. Or else, exactly where are we going to be going? Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.